This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the studios of WOCA Radio, located just off the runway at the the Ocala International Airport in the Brick City Beautiful, Ocala, Florida. Joining me on the phone line as he does every day, Galen Unall from Life South. He's joining us from the confines of somewhere up in Marietta near Truist Park, but not at Truist Park, as he's continuing to do his duties for Life South. Galen, good morning to you.
Hey, what's going on, Tom? How are you today?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You're up there. You're just off Windy Hill Road because you're at Kennestone Hospital today, just off Windy Hill, Franklin Road area and everything. That's an area that was very traumatic for me in my life. That's where most of my trouble with the pokey happened, pal.
Well, there you go. Well, and as you know, I try to tell people this all the time. I mean, Marietta is a whole different world from what I consider the rest of Atlanta. So it's on the west side. It's outside the loop. You can't really get here unless you really, really want to get here because the traffic is so bad. You don't go to Marietta or Marietta, depending on if you're from here, if you really want to. You better want to.
Although they've done,
again, we all said this is why we were shocked they built the ballpark here.
Right.
Because it's so difficult to get to.
Well, and Marietta,
Marietta,
Georgia. The town square down there on the square is fantastic. The problem is the square is so far from where you're at.
It's not really in the same town. And,
no.
And again, it's when you look at all of Cobb County, and when you think of bad traffic, people think of like the 75-85 connector, which is terrible, right? Just try to go west on 20 at about 4:30.
Yeah.
Let me know how that works.
Yeah, work that out. Try to navigate 275, 285 at 3:30 in the afternoon. Let me see how that works out for you. Especially, and then throw a ball game, then throw an afternoon ball game on top of that, like yesterday.
That's right. Yeah, if you're on 285 west on that western loop, you're just it's painful. And I will be on there in a couple of hours, and it's just painful. I-4 is a fast, well-flowing interstate compared to where we're talking about. So yesterday, and I am amazed at this, but like a box truck hit a bridge underpinning thing. One of those.
Yeah, because he didn't know his truck was too tall to go there.
No. This was on 285.
Oh, okay.
So hit and it's in the center divide.
Oh no!
Right? Protected by the big Jersey barrier.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I'm like stuck in traffic, and every station in Atlanta has news and traffic. It's really just traffic every 8 minutes, and they have what they call these red alerts. And the red alert came on, a red alert for traffic. If you're on 285, I'm like, oh gosh, here I go. And they describe it, and some box truck decided, and it shut down both lanes of traffic. It's 4 lanes of traffic going each way. And this was at 4:55 when the alert came over. Yeah, so I was there for about an hour and 20 minutes, just not moving. So, yeah, this is why I never live here.
Well, I will tell you this. I almost came across that same situation this morning at the intersection of 326 and the interstate. And I'll tell you
terrible
why.
intersection.
I'll tell you why.
Terrible.
So, you go under the interstate there, and you can take the cloverleaf to the right to get on the interstate.
That's correct.
Or you can take the left to where the Dairy Queen and all is right there. You can take the left because there's no U-turn sign. There's not a sign there that says no U-turn. So you can do a left U-turn and then get on the northbound entrance. Instead of getting on the southbound entrance, you can get on the northbound entrance by doing a quick U-turn right there.
Sure.
Well, a guy did a quick U-turn right there, and you and I have talked about how lack of knowledge people have of right-of-ways and everything like that. There was a car coming out of the convenience store parking lot. It was turning right towards the interstate. There was a car turning left doing a U-turn. Now, everybody knows the car turning right has the right-of-way. The one coming out of the store going right.
No, that's wrong. Is he in the medium?
No, he's coming out of the store parking lot. He's on a road. He's not in the store parking lot. He's on that service road that's right in front of him.
Is there somebody on a medium? Is there somebody on the road?
There's nobody in the road right now. It's just one car wants to turn left to do a U-turn. One wants to turn right and get on the interstate. Okay.
And they're in the same parking lot.
No, they're not in the same parking lot. One is facing south, one is facing north. One is south, going to do the U-turn to go north.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Yes.
The U-turn does not have the right-of-way.
That is correct.
Well, the U-turn hit the car that was turning right and blocked that whole area up for a while.
Well, and they probably weren't smart enough to get their car off of the street. I mean, that's obviously not enough speed for anybody to get hurt.
No, it was.
The car was probably still drivable.
Oh, it was.
Just get your car out of the road at that point.
And I'm sure they did.
Don't make your bad day everybody else's.
I'm sure they did, but I didn't have time to wait for that. So I had to go all the way down to 80th on 326, take 80th up to 27, then take a left on 27, come back up to 60 at the airport road. All because a moron doesn't know the right-of-way.
I will tell you, 326, in that exit, when you're heading north and you're getting off of the exit on 326, it was backed up 6.5 miles the other day.
Oh, it's horrible.
And it just stops traffic because everybody's trying to get there, and there's a light at the end, and that entry ramp isn't long enough.
No.
Because that's where every truck in America.
Because there's 3 truck stops there.
And not only that, that's how they get over onto 301.
Exactly.
So if they want to get onto 95.
Right.
It is a real problem. And it's made worse by all of these additional, warehouses that are being built on 75. They've got to change that road.
Well, they're going to make they say that the entrance and exit that they're going to make for trucks onto 44th will alleviate some of that.
But it's not. And I've seen this. I know exactly where they're talking about. It won't. Because it will only impact.
It will alleviate It'll alleviate traffic on 27. Location. It'll alleviate traffic on 27 because that's where they get off now.
Correct.
Is on Highway 27.
Correct.
Highway 326. The reason so many trucks get up there has nothing to do with the FedEx and the Amazon area.
That's correct.
It has to do with that's how they get to 301 to then get to Jacksonville, I-10 and I-95.
Correct. But there is more trucks on the road north of that interstate and in that section because of they're getting on the road, they're getting on I-75 right there, and then they're bleeding into traffic, and that leads into the 326.
And not only are they bleeding into traffic, but the ones that are continuing northbound, the trucks that are getting off to get fuel and continue northbound, they don't go to the truck stop on the right. They get off the interstate and then work their way into the middle lane so they can turn left into that truck stop. And so that further ties up traffic because it's almost an immediate left. As soon as you get off the interstate, it's almost an immediate left.
Because they can't park, they can't go into either one of the gas stations that's on the right unless they want to go all the way down almost a mile on the right. And then that's a mess because they're making that left turn. That whole situation is an absolute dumpster fire.
I only use that.
And again, it's a big problem.
I live out there, right? And I only use it twice a day.
Sure.
I use it at
Sure.
6:30 in the morning when it's not as bad a problem as it could be. And then I use it one time a week on Tuesday nights at 10:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night
Sure.
when I'm coming back from trivia. That's the only 2 times I use that access because the traffic is so bad that I like the plague, I try to stay away from it.
Well, and it also gets messy because there's so many accidents. Like when I'm driving home, there are more accidents between 326 and 200 on the interstate than the rest of my trip combined, right? Because that area, especially in the afternoon, is terrible, and there's always like one little fender bender that turns into a nightmare. Again, I want to be clear who's to blame at this. It's 99% Canadians' fault.
Yeah,
I haven't
well, there you
blamed
go.
Canadians for much in a while, and that's who I'm blaming today. I don't have any scientific data to back that up. That's just how I'm feeling. And feelings are more important in today's day and age anyway, aren't they?
I think so.
I mean, that's all that matters anymore is my feelings.
That's all that seems to matter to the woke crowd. Why can't we join them? It's all about my feelings and my feelings not being
that's
hurt.
Correct. Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need facts. I don't need to know the
No,
difference
it's my
between,
feel. If I
science
feel
and
good about it,
biology.
if I feel good about it, then obviously it's an accurate thing.
That's correct. So therefore, Canadians are to blame, and
I'm
for
okay
all
with
the
that.
traffic problems.
I'm okay with that. They didn't really help us in the revolution or anything, so I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
I mean, did they beat us in the French Indian War?
No, they weren't.
Yes.
The Canadians
Yes,
didn't.
they-
The fur trappers didn't help a whole lot.
Oh, yeah, we could argue that, but I'm pretty sure they beat us pretty good in that one battle that we've had. And I'm looking for revenge. I know we went back to Iraq for revenge, supposedly for Bush. That's what I'm after. Technically my side won.
But we've had revenge. We've had revenge.
How's that?
Because we put an American city. They have to deal with an American city in Canada. Toronto. So.
That's probably true. Well, and they would say, well, you have to deal with a Canadian city, with Detroit.
Well, that's a good point. Windsor and Detroit.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Good point. Hey, let's take a call. Good morning. You're on with Galen and Tom.
Oh, I hope he's not Canadian.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
As an Irish immigrant, I'm very offended by Galen's comment about the Canadians and the anti-Semitism and homophobia that he's producing out there. So I'm hurt. I'm hurt, Tom. I'm really hurt.
Hey, if I didn't know better, I think that you're just mad we don't give you enough potatoes to keep you happy.
Hey, potatoes are good in liquid form.
Yes, vodka is good. Thanks for the call.
Hey, it's called poutine.
Thanks for the call.
See you later, Tom.
Thanks, Mike.
That's pretty good. Now you got the Irish joining the Canadians, Galen.
Well,
Good job.
again, I don't think I've ever said anything bad about the Irish.
No, because you'd end up dead. That's probably not a wise thing to do.
They would just bomb my whole neighborhood.
Exactly.
I don't want that.
Look, there's 3 groups of people you don't want to mess with. Sicilians that still believe in the La Costa Nostra, the Irish, and the Haitians. You just don't mess with any of that 3 groups.
Yeah, the Haitians will voodoo you, and you don't even know what's wrong, and all of a sudden you're dead, and there's no evidence because of the voodoo got you.
100%.
Like,
Hey,
that's why nobody's afraid of the Canadians.
Speaking of gotcha.
What are they going to do to you?
Speaking of gotcha, we got to take a break. When we come back, though, they say it happens in 3s, and I'm to understand that's an accurate statement. I'll ask Galen about that next. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, somebody brought this to my attention last night, Galen, and I did a little research because somehow I missed it. With Galen, from Life South Georgia's. They say things happen in threes, and usually we're talking about death when it comes into threes. Ray Liotta, who played Henry Hill in Goodfellas, absolutely, passed away. And then Jimmy Caan, who played Sonny Corleone in The Godfather, passed away. And now I found out Paulie Walnuts, Tony Sirico, passed away.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So they're all within, like a month of each other. So I had no idea Paulie Walnuts had passed away.
So
by the way,
what do you think the connection is? Just because they all
played wise guys. Yeah. But by the way, the only one that was a true wise guy in that group, Paulie Walnuts, actually was a mafia connected, and did prison time and everything.
Sure. Yeah, he understood his role well.
And let me tell you something. Out of my and The Sopranos in the 9 seasons it was on, it was a great show. They had a lot of people come through. If you can make Steve Buscemi a believable mobster, okay, and Buscemi's a great actor, and Steve, if you can make Sharippa a believable mobster.
I thought he did a great job.
I thought he did a great job as Tony Baccalari.
Absolutely.
So if you could, but you didn't have to do any. You didn't have to do anything with Tony Sirico. Nothing.
No. You just roll it out, Tony.
And by the way, he's in another famous. He's actually in Goodfellas too. By the way, a younger version of him. They're getting out of the car where they're all dressed in yellow sweaters, and he's the guy that's wrestling with Tootie when Paulie walks out, and he goes, "You started that. No, you started it. No, you started it." That's Tony Sirico in that scene as well. So, but by the way, out of all the actors that acted on The Sopranos, he was my favorite because he better be your favorite because he would kill you if you didn't say he was your favorite. He was a little scary. He brought some believability and some seriousness to that role, even though Paulie Walnuts was a comedic guy most of the time. you knew that he was right on the edge of being a stone cold killer.
Yeah, and I think he brought that edge to the screen. I think you could feel that.
Right.
Like, oh, this could be real.
Yeah.
Right. You ever watch like and that's why documentaries kind of freak me out. It's like, oh, this is real. You know? I get that. Absolutely.
But I had missed that he had passed away. July 8th. He passed away 6 days ago. And I had missed that. And somebody told me that last night. I was like, no, he did nothing. Sure enough, Tony Sirica, Paulie Walnuts, no longer with us. So in the span of about a month, we lost Henry Hill, Sonny Corleone, and Paulie Walnuts. It's tough on the mafia genre. Tough on the mafia genre.
Sure, absolutely.
And nobody. I watched the show The Offer, which is a 10-episode like docudrama about the making of The Godfather, and it's on Paramount Plus, and it was really done really well. And actually, the guy who plays the lead in it, who plays Ruddy in the movie, is also the guy who plays Goose's son in Top Gun Maverick.
Sure,
by the way.
That's right.
So,
that's right. Yeah.
And believable in both, by the way. So
I think he's becoming a very good actor. He's been in a bunch of like Iraq/Afghanistan related films and done a very good job in those. He's a young and up and coming actor.
So, but this 10-episode docudrama about the making of The Godfather, Sonny Corleone, when they came up with James Caan, people were like, who the hell is going to believe an Irish guy is? Who's going to believe an Irish Jew
Sure.
is? Who's going to believe an Irish Jew is a made man in the mafia? After you watch that movie, there's no way. The only person that could ever be Sonny Corleone was James Caan.
Well, you can't picture anybody else but him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which stands to tell you how great a job I think Francis Ford Coppola did in casting that movie.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so. Again, that movie stands a test of time, as well as any movie ever made. I find it pretty remarkable.
Well, and here's the thing: the biggest thing was the studio fought him on was Francis Ford Coppola wanted Al Pacino, and Al Pacino at the time was a struggling Broadway actor. He wasn't the Al Pacino we know, and the Paramount Studios were like, absolutely not. There's not going to happen.
Sure.
And but then they finally got some concession. They explained it in the movie pretty good how it came to pass that Al Pacino, they had to give a little to get a little and everything. But to think there was once a time, it just proves that everybody comes from somewhere. At one time, there were people in Hollywood that thought this Pacino kid is nothing but a bum. He's never going to make it even on Broadway as a serious actor. There's no way we're letting him anywhere near our movies. He's soft-spoken. He's kind of shy. The kid's a bum. He's not ever acting in our movies. I think a Hollywood casting director missed that boat. Thank God Francis Ford Coppola didn't. Thank God Francis Ford Coppola didn't.
Sure. I like that. Yeah, you're right on that one.
Yeah, they wanted, who they wanted originally to play Michael Corleone?
Who's that?
Robert De Niro. I'm glad they didn't because he played Vito Corleone in Godfather 2.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was going to say, what do you do with number 2 then? Because he was. I don't think he was old enough to play the father. That's interesting.
By the way, one of the greatest lines, one of the greatest trivia questions in mine. So what's the first movie that Al Pacino and Robert De Niro appeared together in? And people will immediately go to Heat because they acted face to face. They never were in a scene together in The Godfather 2, but that's the first movie they were in together was Godfather 2. Even though they were never in the scene together.
Yeah,
the actual movie they were in together first was they were both cast members in The Godfather 2.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's again, only a trivia guy knows that.
Only a trivia guy. Hey, by the way,
great.
That's what I do for a living, sir. Radio and trivia. Radio and trivia. We got to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid are set to reiterate their anti-Iran position and sign a joint declaration committing to prevent Tehran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Business is also on the docket today. Prime Minister Yair on Thursday morning.
The world is watching this meeting. This shows that something special is happening here. A new kind of economic and regional cooperation that is more flexible and better adapted to the problems we face.
Basketball player Brittany Griner is expected to make another court appearance Thursday, a week after she pled guilty to drug charges at a Russia court near Moscow. It's unclear if the hearing on Thursday will lead to a verdict or if the trial could drag on into additional hearings. USA Radio News.
No matter if supply lines are down, product deliveries are slow, and that most everything costs more these days, you still have neck and shoulder pain, right? Good news. Sunny Bay has new products that target neck and shoulder pain. Products that are in stock now, ready to ship anywhere now. Like our extra long neck heating pads. They provide soothing relief to painful sore necks and backs. You can heat them in a microwave oven, and they come in a variety of colors and patterns. And for stress relief, get our lavender scented hands-free neck wraps. Or maybe you need one of our smaller lower back wraps. Great for seniors. Again, there's no shipping delays from Sunny Bay. Find our new products on Amazon, Walmart, Etsy, and sunny-bay.com. Just search for Sunny Bay neck wraps. All our products are great for men or women, are reusable and easy to clean. Remember, just search for Sunny Bay neck wraps. Order now because stock is high and shipping is fast. From Sunny Bay.
Howdy folks, RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
If you suffer from joint pain, arthritis, or an injury, you know the traditional treatments, pain meds, steroids, and then surgery, right? Hey, it's Tom Schmitz with great news. Now there's a better way, and it's here now from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022, and those old ways are out, and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using the natural biologics, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you the quality of life you deserve. They now have offices in Ocala and the Villages. Call 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550.
Nirvana Medical Spa is Ocala's premier medical spa, home to a variety of non-invasive corrective laser treatments and facials. Besides filler, neurotoxin, laser hair, we offer PRP, tattoo removal, body contouring, vaginal rejuvenation, urinary incontinence, and men's sexual health. Become a better, brighter, happier you at Nirvana Medical Spa.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, Galen Enoff from Life South joins us as he does every day. Galen, I got a text message during the break that said, if you don't mind, we're wondering why Galen is in Atlanta if he works for Life South in Florida. So if you would explain that to everybody, Galen, so we got a little background on why exactly you've taken the trip to represent Life South all the way up in Atlanta.
Well, I mean, part of my job is I deal with all the hospitals that we service. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm up here just shaking hands and talking to people, making sure that we're providing the best possible customer service.
So Life South, what he's explaining to you folks is Life South is not just a Florida-based operation.
No. We're in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. We supply a little over 131 hospitals now. And so that's what I'm doing. Also up here doing some other things, looking at potential donor centers, meeting with the hotels and all the representatives from Dragon Con. I'm trying to put everything I can into this week.
That's right. Dragon Con's in about a month and a half, huh?
Yeah, Labor Day weekend. It's for some reason it sneaks up on us every year. But yeah, it's the biggest blood drive in the country, and we're proud to be a part of it. This will be our 19th.
You go up every year, and so one year now this year probably because with the way the world is going on, you probably need some security this year. So do you need a volunteer security personnel?
If you want to come up, you are more than welcome.
No, I don't want to work while I'm there, except walking around with you like your bodyguard. I want to take in all the fun.
You can do that all day long.
I want to take the activities in. You know what I mean?
There are very few activities that I'm able to actually see. I used to do the wrestling every year. Haven't been to wrestling in a long time.
You mean you don't go to the midnight version of Rocky Horror Picture Show?
No.
You don't go to the Tesla band and everything. The band that's powered by the Tesla thing.
Yeah, when I stayed inside the Marriott Hotel.
Oh, that's the best place.
I did. Oh, it's nuts. It's
crazy.
Nuts. But first of all, I'm way too old for that now, and now I'm just too tired. I mean, it's a hard day's work.
Do they still have all the they still have all the purchasing stuff and all? Where you go sell your wares and all. Is that still in the basement of the Marriott?
Absolutely. Well, and now it's in Atlanta's Mart, and it's massive. The number of vendors they have.
Oh yeah.
People are selling everything.
When I would go there, when I'd go there as a T-shirt vendor, back in 2006, 2007, 2008. There was, at that time there was probably 300 vendors there, and I bet they just keep getting more and more. But you know what I miss? You know what I miss most about Dragon Con? I'm gonna be honest with you. Caribou Coffee from the mall across the street.
Sure, yeah. I mean, they're great friends of ours. They if you donate blood, they'll give you free coffee.
Caribou Coffee. Look, Starbucks ain't got nothing on Caribou, pal.
I don't drink coffee, so.
I like espresso, and Caribou's espresso is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay.
But that whole little mall area right there at Peachtree Center, where you can go in and get the food. I mean, it's a cool little place anyway. So, and then you can get right on the MARTA right there and everything. So yeah, I love that area, and I love Dragon Con. And what I love about Dragon Con and that weekend, I love that weekend in Atlanta, Labor Day weekend in Atlanta, because the confluence of 3 different groups come together. A large gay pride event is held that weekend. Dragon Con is held that weekend, and the opening game of the SEC football year is played that weekend. And the influx of comic book sci-fi, the gay community, and rednecks from Alabama or Georgia mixing together. The people watching is second to none.
Well, they moved the gay pride thing because Dragon Con was bigger than it, and they got jealous, so they moved that. NASCAR used to have a race at the same time.
But they don't now.
They moved that because of Dragon Con.
The SEC still has its football game.
And there is nothing better than when you get some dude who's dressed fully head to toe in War Eagle. You know, he's got his 2 kids with him, and he's standing in the Marriott going, what in the wide world of sports am I in?
He's looking around. He's got his hands over both of his kids' faces, trying for them not to see what he's witnessing.
They changed that. You're not allowed to. It's very, very, believe it or not, conservative is a loose word here, but it's much more conservative during the day.
Right.
So at night, when they lock the key and you have to have a key to get in and all this,
it gets out
of
hand.
Then it gets a little wild, only in certain parts. But now, you know, when I started my first one in 2002, I don't think there were any rules about what you could or could not.
No.
Could not be in the. And there were a lot of things you wish you never saw. Like back cleavage.
That happens a lot.
I didn't know that.
A lot.
That's not a thing you ever want to witness again, but that's a thing. So, yeah.
And the area you're talking about where you don't want to be after dark, unless you know that where you're going, is the down escalator area in the Sheraton, because that's where all the ballrooms are, where the parties take place, and the movie.
That's where our blood drives were.
Right, and
for 15 years.
Unless you like various stages of nudity. That's not a place to go at night. That's not a place to go at night.
You're not wrong. But Dragon Con is it's remarkable.
It really is.
It's a remarkable place because they are the most friendly, nicest, courteous individuals as a group. And when I mean a group, I'm talking about 175,000 strong.
The only one bigger is Comic-Con out in San Diego.
Oh, it's not. Attendance-wise, it's not. That hasn't been true for a long time. But what's remarkable is you'll have all these people waiting in line, and they're apologizing to each other for, oh, I'm sorry, I got here first, and I'm in front of you. You know what I mean? Oh, I have some snacks. Would you like some snacks?
Oh, yeah, it's very nice and cordial.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I literally, the first year I went there, I was like, how is this many people? And they take those 4 hotels, and it may be bigger now, but when I was there, it was those four hotels all right across the street from each other. And when I went there, it was the Sheraton, the Hyatt. It was right there. And you'd have back then they said there was 125,000-130,000 people that would come to this thing.
Sure.
And I thought, well, I'm going to get to see a bunch of brawls at this. It is the most docile, non-fighting confluence of thousands of people. Usually you get crowds like that, somebody's going to get aggravated with somebody and fisticuffs may erupt. Not at Dragon Con.
You can find people who are completely bombed out of their mind drunk. And they're happy, and everybody's like,
and people help
let
them.
Me help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other place I see that much. The only other place I see that much courtesy is at the Masters. It's the only place. Because the Masters.
By the way, talking about a completely different crowd.
The first time I went to the Masters, I went and sat in my chair there, and I sat out of my chair, and the guy I'm with, Robert Long, goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "We've got a chair. We're going to sit down." He goes, "Nah, leave that chair. It'll be fine." I go, "No, somebody will sit in there." He goes, "Tom, I've been here before. You hadn't. Leave the chair." This is like 1996, 95, 94. He goes, "Leave the chair. You'll be fine." So we go walking around the course all day. We never go. We sat in that chair at like 7 in the morning. All day. And by the way, at 7 in the morning, we were still 8 or 9 rows back around 18. And it was 7 in the morning. So we were walking around all day. I go, "So we're going back to 18?" Yeah, I go, "I promise you, they're going to be in our chairs." Robert goes, "I promise you they won't." I go, "You're a moron to think we've left those chairs for that long. Somebody's going to sit in them." He goes, "Follow me." He goes, "Excuse me, we're up front, please." And people moved out of our way. And I'm like, what? These people are moving. They opened up. We get up there. Sure enough, 2 empty chairs, our 2 chairs right there. Nobody's sitting in them or anything. The only time I ever walked up and somebody was sitting in them, I go, "Excuse me, that's my chair." The guy goes, "Well, I was keeping it warm for you, thanks." And he got up and moved and let me have my chair. And that was in '96, the Norman meltdown.
And you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
And you're okay with that.
But that's the amazing thing is you go to the Masters, put your chair out, walk away.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they let chairs in now or not. I know that they've stopped a bunch of stuff, but you could get in the '90s. You could get chairs in. When I went in 2012, I didn't take any.
Yeah.
I didn't take a chair, so I don't know whether you could bring them in then or not. But in the '90s, you could bring your chair in, no phones, but your chair, and nobody sits in it, and they let you go right up to the front. They've been sitting there for hours. You walk up and say, "Hey, I'm up front." Oh, sure, go ahead. Never had I witnessed that before in my life.
Well, and again, when you go to events like that, it gives you hope that, society as a whole is still good. It's just you get, on the social media, TV, et cetera, they only bring out the bad, right? That's what gets clicks and gets eyeballs and everything else. But when you go into these mass groups, 99% of them are great. You know what I mean? And again, I had somebody said, "Oh, man, I'm really nervous about the security." I'm like, security of what? Do you think somebody's going to hurt you, or do you think somebody's going to, bomb? And they're like, yeah, all those things. And I'm like, well, you haven't been to Dragon Con.
Right.
Because if God's honest truth, if there was a bomb, I guarantee you there'd be like 150 people who could defuse it within 100 yards of it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
we would
exactly.
Get that thing defused in a heartbeat.
The intelligence ratio at Dragon Con is off the chart.
Oh, it's crazy.
Off the chart.
It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
and I told them that you can't explain Dragon Con until you
go. I literally, one of my favorite things to do was every morning, as everybody's waking up and the vendor room is coming alive and everything, is you would walk around and talk to the other vendors. Some of the best conversations I've ever had about politics and history have been with people that if you looked at him, you'd say, well, that's a high school dropout. Well, that kid's going to be a loser. He's 34 years old, probably worth $1 million,
sure.
But he's dressed in all this, the black eyeliner and everything. People go, well, that kid's probably,
yeah, absolutely.
That kid's probably created the app we're using on our phone right now is what the kid probably did. So.
Yeah, and again, it's Dragon Con's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But it is afterwards you feel really good about it. You're like, oh, yeah, this was fantastic.
But that gets us back to the original question of why Galen's in Atlanta. Well, because Life South services 3 different states, and their largest blood collection, in a 4-day period is at Dragon Con every year. Is that still the largest blood donation area?
Absolutely. It's 5 days, and it's the largest in our organization.
That's right. It's Thursday through Monday. That's right. Yeah.
Right, and it's the largest in the country. When you look at one unique blood drive that's not repeated like several times a year, it's the largest blood drive in the country.
And so that's why, folks, when you want to know what is Galen from Ocala, Florida's Life South doing in Georgia and Alabama all the time, it's because that's their reach. Those 3 states, over 130 hospitals they service. And in Atlanta, they also do a blood drive at Dragon Con that is the largest 5-day blood drive at one time in the country. So there's the answer to your question, young lady. So she was one.
And we're going to be in the parade. And I love Dragon Con for a lot of reasons. But, and Dragon Con's been great for Life South. They called me. I was up here when I used to manage this office from afar. And they called, and I said, wait, what? They're like, yeah, we want to have a blood drive. And I'm like, all right, it's Labor Day weekend. I have a hole. And we drew 72 donors that first year. Last year, with the pandemic, we saw almost 6,000 people at the blood drive.
Right, exactly.
Just to put that into perspective. 6,000. And it's remarkable.
And that's because
really
you didn't have it. That's because you don't have enough time in the day.
Well, we don't have enough space.
Right,
we don't have
that's
enough
what I mean.
room.
If you had enough room and enough employees and all to take it, you could run that blood drive 24 hours a day, and you'd be busy the whole time.
Oh, absolutely. We've thought about it. We've talked about it. We just say no. We at some point.
Well, the blood alcohol content in the blood, the alcohol content in the blood will increase dramatically in the middle at nighttime.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's the only blood drive where when we get there, and we usually get there about an hour and a half before the drive starts. There are already people in line waiting to donate blood. And I tell people this and who work here and they've never been, and they just can't fathom it. They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "No. We'll show up. The blood drive will start at 10. We'll be there at about 8:30. There'll be 20 people in line waiting to give blood." They're like, "That's not happening." And you get there and you see the first people, and they open up their mouth and goes, "Oh my, oh my!" It's an incredible event. And I don't know if the Henrys will ever hear this, but they own Dragon Con, and they are a great family, and I'm a huge fan of Pat, even though he talks more trash about me than you do.
That's hard to believe.
You should see. I should share the text that he sends me.
Who, from Pat?
Because he's a huge sports fan.
Oh, he is
but he's
huge
a bandwagon
sports guy.
front runner.
Right. He only likes the best teams ever. And by the way, he'll change. He'll flip flop on who he's cheering for.
Well, and he invites me to every year to, hey, if the Braves are playing, he's like, "I got a box. You're coming with me," and I'm like, "No, I can't." I mean, he introduces me to all the celebrities and stuff, and then this is how he introduced me. This is Galen. He's an idiot. He works with the blood drive. You should stop by. That's the introduction.
Yeah, this is Galen. This is Galen. He's an idiot. He runs the blood drive.
We get along really, really well.
Pat's a good guy. Pat's a funny guy too.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me ask you this. Let's switch gears. I got to bring this up. We talked about Canada earlier. We got to come back. We got to revisit Canada. I like this stance, but it puts them in a bad situation. 25 players make up a major league roster, correct?
Sure, correct.
Not the Kansas City Royals. They only got 15 on the major league roster. They're having to bring some people up because 10 of their players say we're not vaccinated against COVID-19 and we're not going to get vaccinated, so they're not going to be allowed to go to Toronto and play the Blue Jays. And they're like, "Hey, you're not sticking me with a pin just so I can play a game." And the Royals are backing their players, actually. I thought the Royals would be like, "Look, we're paying you," but no.
No, they had to.
Right. So 10 players have decided they're not going to Toronto.
Sure. Well, my body, my choice. And then did you see the study that came out about potential men in a massive drop in sperm count?
Yep.
From who have gotten the vaccine?
Yep.
I mean, if again, we were talking about athletes who are in the best shape of their life, right? The chances of a Major League Baseball player dying of COVID is incredibly small. That's one of those things that just, okay, whatever. And please, and the vaccine doesn't have any impact on Omicron. You know who told me that? Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I mean, there you go.
So
the patron saint Anthony Fauci.
Here's who they're losing. When you think, oh yeah, it's only 10 players.
Oh no,
Whit Merrifield is their starting second baseman. Sure. Andrew Bernadetti is their starting left fielder. Melendez is their starting DH. Hunter Dozier is their starting right fielder. Kyle Isabel is their starting center fielder. Cam Gallagher is their starting catcher. They're not losing roster players to sit on the end of the bench. These are guys that play every day. And by the way, if the Royals are doing this, there are 31 other teams that don't play in Canada on a regular basis.
Yeah.
This could end up being a trend because the players union goes, you can't require it, so no. And the Royals are like, we wouldn't try to require it, so no.
Well, no, the real issue is if the Toronto Blue Jays make the playoffs, right? And they get into a 3-game set, or a 5-game set.
Well, Major League Baseball will have to make Toronto play its home games in the United States.
They can't. I don't think they could do that anymore. right? I don't think they can do that. They're not going to allow.
Well, they can't allow Toronto to have that kind of advantage.
Sure, they can. Yeah, sure. I mean, and it's the country. It's not Major League Baseball or the Toronto Blue Jays that are forcing the vaccine. It's the country.
Well, Muirfield has been the most outspoken about it. He goes, look, I had a friend die from COVID-19 last fall. It wasn't something that I was like, hey, I read Twitter and formed an opinion type thing. He's the player rep for the Royals as well. Muirfield said, I talked to a lot of people who had experienced both ways. This wasn't something I took lightly. I had a really dear friend of mine die of COVID, a college friend. He passed away of something last fall. It's something that I take seriously. But he says, I live a healthy lifestyle. I work out. I want my body to be naturally fit and not have chemicals that we don't know their actual usage or their actual and it went away now, but it's effectiveness that the drug has towards what it's supposed to be doing. And I think those are all legitimate questions he's asking.
Sure. What? Agreed. Completely agree.
So, but I 10 players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 10 are starters.
Correct.
That's a pretty strong statement.
Correct.
That's a pretty strong statement.
You know, the Red Sox went through Toronto, and they played Toronto a whole lot more. And they had 5 guys who couldn't make the trip because they're not vaccinated. And it was a huge issue in the Boston media about how selfish these guys are. You know, how selfish to not get the vaccine for your team. I don't know when the whole thing becomes, it's my body, my choice. You're selfish if you don't get a vaccine.
No, it's only your body, your choice when it comes to abortion. When it comes to getting stuck for a vaccine, it's not your body, your choice. It's you're selfish because the perils of the entire society are on the line if you individually don't get an injection.
But it's not selfish if you kill an unborn child.
But it's not selfish if you kill an unborn child because it's your body, your choice.
You're a hero.
But it's selfish if you decide you don't want a pin stuck into your arm and some sort of chemical that you don't know what it will really do 20 years down the road. Now you're just selfish for not doing that.
Absolutely correct. Yeah, it's unbelievable. The hypocrisy of this world sometimes just makes me shake my head. What are you going to do?
You know, some people are out there going, it's a difference. No, it's not. It's my body, my choice. How the hell is it different?
I don't know how. Well,
how's it different?
You know what the difference is?
One's a living human being. The other one's just my arm. That's the difference.
Well, no, the one is there's another human being involved.
Exactly.
And it all depends on when you think life begins.
Well, I know.
Which is interesting.
I know.
You know what they're talking about up here is a lady got a ticket. A lady who's pregnant got a ticket for driving in the HOV lane by herself.
And she's fighting, and she goes,
her
no.
argument is, I'm not by myself. I have a child with me.
I agree
and
with
I
her 100%.
was like, you know what? It's going to be interesting if she wins it.
Because now there'll be precedent
wow.
that a fetus in the womb is a human because the lady was allowed to drive in the HOV lane with 2 people in the car because she was pregnant.
It's got a heartbeat, and that's the law. It's I was like, she either knew that going in and kind of wanted to be this, or she's like, oh, I'm not paying.
I'm not paying that ticket.
Wait a second, I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant. That's 2 people.
I got another person with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was fun.
Again, one of the things that I can say that only in Georgia.
Yeah. I will tell you, talk radio up here is so much fun because of the Warnock-Herschel Walker debate.
They're loving that, brother. You don't have to do. You don't have to really prepare for work. You just go and turn the microphone on.
Yeah, and then you've got Green, who's a congresswoman who's borderline crazy.
Not borderline.
Hero.
Not borderline.
Hey,
Galen.
Taylor, what's her name? Margie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Hey, Galen, where's the Bloodmobile today?
Hey, today we're at the Publix right there at 40 East Shopping Center, so please stop by. We are in emergency need of all types, especially platelets. Our platelet usage has gone really high. A lot of cancer patients out there. And they need you. The only reason they can get the services and the treatments they need is if their platelets are going to be replaced. Only way we can replace those platelets is if somebody just like you donates them. So come by and see us right there at 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard or lifesouth.org.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, all.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Over 40 people are unaccounted for, including children, and more than 100 homes have been damaged or destroyed after devastating floods ripped through Whitewood in western Virginia on Wednesday. Virginia Governor Republican Glenn Youngkin declared a state of emergency. After yesterday's Consumer Price Index announcement, inflation under the Biden administration is over 9%. Essentials like butter is over 26% more expensive. Eggs is 33% higher. Gasoline, 60% higher. A new car, 11% higher. Airline tickets are 34% higher than last year. Vice President Kamala Harris at the American Workforce Summit in Washington, D.C. says this is all under control.
Fighting inflation is one of our administration's top economic priorities, which is why we have taken action to lower the cost of living for Americans, millions of Americans.
USA Radio News.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You're not required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-279-1717. 800-279-1717. That's 800-279-1717.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Some important peanut meetings are being held across the U.S. The American Peanut Research and Education Society meeting in Dallas, Texas, and then the Southern Peanut Growers Conference, July the 21st through the 23rd next week, and they will include the National Peanut Board meeting there to discuss their promotion program for peanuts during the coming year. But 3 big meetings coming up back-to-back. Then the farmers are reminded to report your peanut acreage. The 15th of July is the deadline, and all peanuts should be reported per acre along with all other crops that have a government program attached. Also, a date to remember is July 21. It's Field Day at the Sunbelt Ag Expo. Farmers are invited to join information for the region's top agricultural scientists as they talk about the new technologies that farmers are using to improve their operation. Field Day features a drive-in tour of the Darrell Williams Research Farm at the Sunbelt Ag Expo in Moultrie, Georgia. It's a half-day event and it's free to everyone who works in agriculture. Visitors should arrive about 8 a.m. and pick up your guide. Signs will direct you to the attendance of a red tent where they will register, receive a welcome bag, including snacks, registration credits, and begin the tour. At Sunbelt Ag Expo Field Day, July 21.
Peanut producers, fine-tune your farming operation with information gain at the 23rd Annual Southern Peanut Growers Conference, set for July 21 through 23 at Edgewater Beach Resort in Panama City Beach, Florida. The 3-day event provides farmers with information about peanut production, legislative issues, marketing, and promotions. The conference is presented by the Southern Peanut Farmers Federation. Visit southernpeanutfarmers.org for more information.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Unbeatable prices and events are popping up everywhere at Rural King. Like an antique steel fire pit for just $49.98. Or your choice of 27-foot tie-down ratchet straps, just $7.99 a piece. And don't miss taking a spin on the baddest mowers at our Lawn Mower Rodeo. Saturday, June 18th from 10 till 2. Must be 16 or older to ride. Shop now at ruralking.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
when it really counts. Depend on The Source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today we'll have sunshine mixing with some clouds with a thunderstorm this afternoon. High today 88 to 92. Then patchy clouds this evening. Low tonight 71 to 75. We'll have sunshine mixing with some clouds Friday. Thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. High tomorrow 89 to 92. Thunderstorms this weekend. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com. That's right. It's time for Vets News with the guys from Vets Helping Vets. Here's Gary.
Good morning, listeners. It's great to be here on this beautiful morning. It's hot in